Okay, this is Uncle John. We got a story today to read aloud. It's called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. The author is John Sika. He has more consonants in his name than I think there are in the alphabet, actually. This is the story about, the story about the Three Little Pigs, but this is from the wolf's point of view, and of course he claims that it's a whole different story. So we'll find out about that. It's illustrated by Lane Smith, and it's told. A. Wolf is the author. The wolf tells the story to John Sika. So that's that book. Okay, here we have the true story of the Three Little Pigs, as told by A. Wolf. I happen to know his name is Alexander. And it's told to John Sika, who's really the author, and illustrated by Lane Smith. So this is the other side of what you remember with the Three Little Pigs, the house of straw and the house of twigs and the house of bricks. So here we go. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll tell you, I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were the big bad too. That's one heck of a cheeseburger. But, like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. So way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I had run out of sugar. Got some interesting ingredients there. See those little bunny ears sticking out of the batter? So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. And now this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build a house of straw? There he's got the cup. He's going to get the cup of sugar that he's going to borrow from the pig. So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch, and I felt the sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed, a great sneeze. See a little piggy's butt? And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. It had been home the whole time. Well, it seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house, and this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not by much. He had built his house of sticks. Got a little saw there and some tree trunks where he cut down some wood. And I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. Got a little razor there. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. A fork and a fork and a knife and a spoon. We know what's going to happen to that piggy. Now, you know, food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he had built his house out of bricks. There it is. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? Do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar. And he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Ooh, that is rude. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. I think you got the TV or radio people there too. Oh boy, what a mess. Well, the rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that huff and puff and blow your house down stuff. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar? The true story of the three little pigs.